This video will introduce you to Iceland film and television today. The patient has been exploring the development of several Icelandic specialties and the historical culture behind it. Not much to say. The whole film starts tens of millions of years ago. The Earth was violent and the volcanic earthquake gave birth to Iceland. It's an artifact kingdom of many conflicts in one geographically. Although he is located near the circle, but relying on the valley of light of the Atlantic current, so that the temperature is not cold, although the lake map area is increasing. But because the population is only 360,000, that makes it one of the least densely populated countries in the world. Snow mountains in the clouds, the ink blue stream that pops out, merging into a river in Iceland, waterfalls, and there are more than 200 scattered volcanoes, in addition to bestowing abundant geothermal resources on the Icelanders, like the sword of the great Moses hanging high, reminding them to be in awe of nature. Since zero is outside of Europe, the history of Iceland dates back roughly to the 9th century. According to the techniques of the Settlers' Book, Iceland's earliest historical works, the ancestors of Icelanders came from northern Europe and Ireland, Vikings in Scotland and elsewhere. The book details the names of the first 3,000 settlers, consciousness and the faction of adding seats. Almost all Icelanders' surnames are still far away today. Since then, generations of Icelanders have passed down the purest Nordic civilization in this mysterious and misty land. An ancient Norse language once spoken throughout Scandinavia. It is hard to find in today's European mainland, but the Icelanders of beyond the picture need only a little guidance. You can read through the written works of thousands of years ago. Many of the customs in Icelandic culture have a deep history behind them. Accumulation diet is flammable. Now let's take a look at this magical country. The unique style of the dining table at home. The Icelandic horse, which is fearless of humans in the wilderness, is an important calling card for tourism here. The ancestors of these horses came to Iceland almost with Viking at level 90. In the windy wilderness, these horses become progressively retarded. The population is short and funny. It is completely incomparable to the shrine of those size events on the European battlefield. But the creator is fair. The ice knife horse that gave up its appearance has also gained longevity since then, can withstand bitter cold, the characteristic of not producing all diseases. Because the early pioneers were often confronted with food shortages, so the Icelanders developed a custom of eating horse meat. In 1000 AD, Norway seeks to convert Iceland to Christianity, cut off all trade with Iceland. The leader of the Icelanders, Thorgwell, spent the night pondering in a blanket. Finally, he slapped his thigh and decided to change his will to join Brother Sue. So all the original Norse statues were placed in the waterfall. Genswe flew down from the supreme throne of Odin. From now on, the gods, this is where the waterfall gets its name. But at the same time, Thorgere maintained 3 redemptions that the Christian church could not dictate. The common people are free to choose their beliefs in private. 2 is that we are allowed to abandon our children in the wild, and 3 is that we can continue to eat horse meat. From this height we can be happy. Icelanders' obsession with horse meat. Icelanders like to eat horse meat with mushrooms or some rhizomes. You can also buy deli sausages made from horse meat in large quantities in supermarkets. I remember there was a scandal in the UK in 13 years when unscrupulous traders replaced beef with horse meat. Make people panic for a while. I'd like to hear from Icelanders on that. Did the British people win or lose? In the history of the Icelanders, there is no more important food than fish. It is an integral part of Icelandic culture. Fishing not only allows Icelanders to survive and multiply, the export of fish helped the country move further from medieval Europe. Transformed into one of the richest countries today. As of the 1950s and 1960s, Icelanders still eat fish every day. They carve fish seals on coins, and even waged only 3 wars in history over fish. And the opponent is another old capitalist big brother outside the European continent, Britain. And the story begins in World War II. Iceland was founded in 1944. By this time, the European continent had already been filled with the smoke of World War II. Iceland tripped over 2 big cousins in Scandinavia. Denmark and Norway were successively occupied by Germany due to Iceland's strategic location in the North Atlantic Ocean. Britain and the United States decided to take the lead here. The military decision of the 2 great powers brought unprecedented development to Iceland. Infrastructure was put up near Keflavik and Reykjavik airports. Iceland modernized at an astonishing rate during this period. The end of World War II, Cold War childish. Iceland joins NATO and signed a treaty with the United States, became a defense protectorate of Iceland. The time has come to 1958. Due to the development of the fishing industry in Iceland, proposed to extend the territorial waters to 12 nautical miles and require all foreign fishing vessels within range to leave Icelandic waters. Dang became anxious when he heard it. Say that you, a little Iceland, are just a small country that was sheltered in the past. Your ancestors are poor relatives who can't get by without me. Now you dare to compete with me for fishing grounds in the Atlantic Ocean. Therefore, Queen Elizabeth II issued a lifetime order. The Royal Navy is dispatched to escort British fishing vessels. In the eyes of the British, there is not even an army. Iceland is an object that can be rubbed at will. When they neglect to play politics, Iceland is the father of all Europeans. The Althing Parliament of Iceland was established in 930. It was the first modern parliament in the world. The entire political system of the Icelandic Free State was established around chess. It is still praised by European historians to this day. When the British Navy marched into Iceland, we don't even have an army. Icelanders don't have hard steel with it. He turned around and opened the door to the U.S. Army Garrison Office, 7 Mile Island, Iringi County, and also proposed to withdraw from NATO because of scolding, just because the UK bullied you and did not uphold justice. Then let me go. After they all left, Medea and NATO immediately made a fist. Mediate, bring Dang to the negotiating table. In a public opinion that focuses on the overall situation, the Royal Navy can only poke the car to fetch water and go back. This led him to marry in 1972 after Ma died. It was staged twice in 1975. Iceland also extended its territorial waters from 12 nautical miles to 50 nautical miles. 200 nautical miles at the table. The Icelanders, of course, also showed an obsession with eating fish. Early Icelanders boned or washed all kinds of fish. Air dry, make a unique dried fish. Icelanders eat him. Eat him with bread. Stew porridge and eat him. And the most famous dish for eating fresh fish is Icelandic fish stew. Use more cod for raw materials. Fly the fish through the water first, and then the butter melts. Onion saucepan. Sprinkle with flour. Add milk again and again. Then put the fish in and mix it. And finally the mashed potatoes. When it is almost unable to stir, sprinkle some pepper and it can be brought out of the pot. Of course, this is just a relatively traditional approach. Nowadays, there are many trendy versions of Icelandic fish stew. There are chives. We have mayonnaise and cheese. And with curry? Anyway, it's just mushy. Just spread it on bread and eat it. Some of the first settlers in Iceland were also a rather stubborn bunch. They moved to a whole new world. But I still miss the days when I was farming kitchen robes in mainland Europe. There's been an inertial demand for grains. But then they found out, this land of ice and fire is truly unfit for cultivation. Except for some very limited land available to grow cabbage. Carrot, raincoat, outside kale. You want to grow wheat on a massive scale. That's impossible. And due to its unique geographical location, Iceland's fragile ecology is highly vulnerable to the so-called Little Ice Age. I finally made it to the 18th century, but it caught up with a catastrophe called a disaster. That's when a trash volcano on the south coast of Iceland erupted violently, up to 8 months. About 1/5 of Icelanders died directly in the disaster. Then lava and ash revealed 80% of Iceland's livestock sports crops. This caused another quarter of the population to die of famine. The rest of the survivors almost moved their whole country to Denmark. Because of this accidental fish wave, it caused a famine in France. It also indirectly ignited the cannon bird for the French Revolution. In short, the Icelanders along the way have never suffered in large mouthfuls. But if you can't eat it, it's the best. So they made bread making a big deal in Iceland. They are grateful. Be careful, for fear of encountering a hard-won rare monster. Leaf bread is one of them. First of all, it's a holiday food that's only eaten during Christmas, due to the scarcity of flour. So the shape of the leaf bread is very, very thin. People religiously carve repeated leaf-like patterns on its paper-thin dough, then quickly fry in a pan. Due to its close connection with Christmas, so it is also called Christmas bread, a kind of energy, things that Jesus bound together. You think about his status. Due to the lack of materials, Icelanders have developed the good habit of being frugal and not wasting money since ancient times. They were not as particular as their European grandfathers. If you can eat it all. I can't eat it anymore, and I will try my best to prolong the preservation. Let's take a sheep. Icelanders have figured out several delicious dishes in him. First, the smoked lamb. The traditional practice is to collect some sheep excrement first. They call it the Welsh truffle. Mix these truffles with sawdust to the bottom of a wooden box. Hang the mutton on top. Then light the lid and smoke him for 2 days and 2 nights. Smoked until lamb is colored by truffles. Refrigerate for another 4 days. Let the smell of truffles penetrate the flesh. This delicious dish is done. Cook the bacon first. Slice into thick slices, dipped in sauce with green beans. It smells good. Boiled sheep's head is a delicacy designed for festive consumption. After all, people only kill sheep on big days. Icelanders cook them whole when they make them. When it was served, even the teeth and eyes were still on it. I can't help but say that the sheep's eyeballs are high-protein Icelandic food rich in vitamins. And the Icelanders also marinate the testicles of rams in whey. The finished product is even mashed up to make a more digestible sauce. Goodfellas sheep testicles soaked in yogurt for sauce. What do you think he deserves to eat? I guess only a large intestine sashimi can afford it. In addition to these delicious, the leftovers from the sheep are also collected by the Icelanders, blended with oats and rye to make a sausage. The remaining minced meat and bones were used to mix with vegetables for a stew. But then again, the Icelandic Ocean truly deserves such an offspring, because for most of the year, they will all be released from the fence, walk freely in the countryside, feeds on weeds, berries, and seaweed. I know the video takes so long. Many people are getting a little impatient. Why haven't you mentioned that famous delicacy? Coming. The fermented shark you want is here for you. This dish is made from Greenland near Iceland. The meat of Greenland sand is poisonous when it is fresh, so the Icelanders had to bury it in a hole and ferment it for at least 6 weeks before using it. It can only be used safely after that. Even if you want to drink something thin, You can also order the blood broth leached from the tobacco sandfish. Under the influence of time, it is also non-toxic. When people eat these ammonia-emitting fish, they cut them into small and cute cubes. For the convenience of feeding, each one is thoughtfully tied with a toothpick. It is said that the taste of the shark is similar to butter, and the more authentic the smoked shark is, the more it has a burning sensation like drinking alcohol. And in fact, Icelanders do like to have a glass of their local diet spirits while they're eating their shark. The history of the Icelanders is like their landscape, ice and fire, ups and downs. In the long Middle Ages, the Viking settlers of the fairy lantern wilderness, it took a long time to confront the challenges of nature, living a hard and poor life. Many of the country's traditional food traditions were also etched during this period. But into the 20th century, Iceland has started to rise rapidly again, especially in the 1990s. With its unique geographical advantage, they have diversified industrial structures. It has become one of the most developed countries in the world. But the 2008 financial crisis dealt Iceland an unprecedented blow. Iceland's 3 largest banks went bankrupt overnight. I finally made it through. Results 2010. The Eyjafjallajökull volcano, which had been dormant for 200 years, erupted again. In 2015, the Badajohn volcano also erupted violently. I think it doesn't matter how much you earn. It's not easy to let go of this life. Together with more than 200 volcanoes, how do you think they managed to keep up with insomnia?